Hello there guys, and welcome to Mad Doc Minis. So in this video I've got another wonderful vehicle from Culverin Models again, and full disclosure, I purchased this myself. I in fact purchased 3 of these. I wanted to give them some business after they very kindly sent me that Bulwark battle tank to review for free on the last video I did for them. So I was very keen to kind of, give them some well-deserved business there and purchase these. Now this is a Boar Transport, so B-O-A-R, Boar, and I've got 2 of these, and I've got a third which is a kind of another variant of the Boar, which I'll show you in a minute. You can see here not much to put together. We've got a single piece hull here, very nicely printed, not too much in the way of print lines there at all. We've got an enclosed crew compartment, headlights on the front, and got some nice detailed riveting around there, nicely detailed inside. Look, got some interior detail and kind of troop seating here, plenty of room if you wanted to include this as part of a diorama, or if you just wanted to put kind of crew in that open topped area there. Lots of different options going on. Tracks come in left and right variations there, so they're not identical. You need to put them on the correct sides. You've got a little bit of print lining on the side, but nothing that's going to actually bother me too much at all. And you've got a weapon here which is kind of like a big heavy stubber in Warhammer 40,000 speak, or maybe even like an auto cannon kind of thing going on. And that just, you can see you've got a hole there and a plug in there and a little slot, and that literally just plugs into there and slots down like that and pokes out. These are very reminiscent to me of the universal carriers from World War II, the kind of Bren gun carriers. Had they use them for towing artillery, moving small units of infantry around. Very similar idea behind this, and in Warhammer 40,000 terms, quite similar in size and battlefield role to the Centaurs, which Forge World started to introduce a long while back. I don't think they're available anymore, actually. I don't think they do them anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but the Centaur was a similar idea behind it. They were often associated with the Death Corps of Krieg. But this here, all you do is literally kind of a little bit of glue on there, and you just glue the track up underneath. Bearing in mind they are left and right specific. For now, I'm just going to show you what that kind of looks like, kind of completed. So bear with me. Apologies if anything falls off in advance here because it's not glued together. But that's the overall look. Okay, so you've got this little armoured cube almost, which is really, really cool. Really, really like it. And yeah, and quite kind of inexpensive as well. Go and check on Culverin Models. Obviously prices are bound to fluctuate a little bit, but it's around about £12 to £13, I think, for this. So that's not much for something this size in Warhammer 40,000 terms. Now, what I'm going to do with mine, I am going to convert it over to Warhammer 40,000, which is my jam. I'm probably going to swap out the weapon for something that is in universe for Warhammer 40,000, just to kind of solidify this in that universe. So I'll probably use some kind of auto cannon or heavy stubber or something in the place of this weapon here. Not that I have any problems with this, it's just that I want it to be attached to that universe a bit more firmly. And I may or may not put crew in the back, haven't decided on that yet. But what I am going to do, that's how it's designed to be put together, all right? Tracks tucked in tight underneath there. But what I'm going to do, because these tracks have beautiful detailing on the top here, I just like to show that off slightly. So I'm just going to make them stand slightly proud, kind of like this, okay? Kind of like that. I've not decided to what extent I'm going to do that, but that's the general idea. So I'm just going to get the tracks to poke out slightly. So we've got something here that is a bit broader. Indeed, when we do that, it's probably, I don't know, it's difficult to work out. I haven't measured it, but it could even be a little bit wider than it is long. Now, that doesn't bother me as long as it kind of looks good, and I think that looks quite nice. So in order to do that, I'm probably just going to put a little bit of material under here, like a bit of Foamex or plastic card or something similar, glue that on, and then attach the track to that to allow it to sit proud. And for me, that's just a wonderful little look. So it's just an optional thing that I'm doing, but that's the kind of what I'm going to get up to with that. I'm going to use another one here because I've got 2 of these, and if you kind of look, that's what I'm doing. that's the original look. Okay, so you can see it's just a little bit of a different slant on things. And I'll just show you another variant I've got. I've got two of those standard bores, and we've got this one here, which I believe Culverin calls the Thumper, and this is basically the same tank but with mortar carrying capacity. So we've got a lovely handsome little mortar there. I may or may not change that out for a Warhammer 40,000 mortar. I'm not decided on that yet, because that is a quite nice looking little thing. Everything else is pretty much the same, but there are some extra details inside. So we've got some kind of ammunition lockers here for the mortar on both sides. I think that's a wonderful little addition. Just really, you know, makes it come to life a little bit. Really, really nice. And yeah, I'm just really pleased with these. So I'm probably going to do that same thing about bringing the tracks out on all of them, because I haven't glued them yet. They're still kind of ready to be put together. So guys, I'm going to go off screen. I'm going to put them together and throw a paint job down on them, but I just wanted you to know what they are supposed to look like out of the box with the tracks tucked underneath before I do my heretical conversion work here. So I'll come back to you after I put these together, done my little bit of conversion work and painted them up. As ever, it's going to be a very basic tabletop standard paint scheme to fit in with my Praetorian force in this case. And I hope you enjoy. So come back to me on the screen in a sec. Okay guys, welcome back on screen. So you can see here that I've completed construction, painting and conversion work on all of these. I didn't go into depth on the conversions for these guys because quite frankly, there wasn't much to see really. I don't think you would have gotten much out of me breaking it all down bit by bit, but I will talk you through some of the aspects now that they are complete. They may look a little bit shiny on screen because there's a little bit of Agrax Earthshade just finishing up drying on these, so I'll be a bit careful how I handle them. But I'm going to dive straight into the mortar carrier. First of all, you can see on all of them that I have indeed mounted the tracks slightly proud of the chassis. I think that looks great. I'm biased, but if I turn them over, you'll see all that's gone on there is a little bit of Foamex just stuffed in between the chassis and the track there, and that's about 3mm wide, so that gives you an idea of what I did there. Very easy, all super glued together, no drama at all there. On the mortar carrier here, I did replace the weapon with a GW mortar. This is an older style Cadian mortar. I really did like the stock weapon that came with this kit. I think it's a much nicer looking weapon than this one actually, but I just wanted it to all fit within the GW universe, so I decided to change that out. Older style mortar, newer style Cadian bodies, head swaps, and these are Perry miniatures, British colonial heads, and that's how I convert Praetorians, which is my chosen Imperial Guard regiment. Go and check out my Praetorian army video if you're interested in learning a bit more about that. I'll put a link in the description. So yeah, I told a little bit of a story in the back. I am not generally a fan of dioramas on the tabletop in wargaming terms. Like for instance, you know, I don't mount my heavy weapons or my field ordnance on bases, and I like all the crew to be separate miniatures. I think I'm a little bit old school like that because that's kind of how GW used to work more with their stuff. What I don't like is mounting these things up on a base, like almost in like an emplacement with like a whole diorama and then moving that around. It just, I don't like it. I don't like it. And I know a lot of people love telling that story on the base, but I don't. So this was new territory for me. There was an opportunity here to do a little bit of a sort of narrative or a diorama type thing within my own rules, if that makes sense. So it's all in the vehicle here, and it was kind of begging for it in the back of this vehicle. So you can see here I've got a loader, I've got a guy placing his hands over his ears, and I've got a radio operator. These are all cannibalized leftover parts, arms and bodies that I had lying around that otherwise wouldn't have got used. So I'm really happy that I used those parts up, and they are all from different kits. They're from the infantry kit, they're from the field ordnance kit, and they've got a few components from the command squad kit as well, for the new Cadians there. All right, so that's about it for the mortar carrier. You can see I've used transfers on all of these fairly liberally just to try and make things pop and add a little bit of detail as well. All right, and moving on, we've got the two auto cannon carriers. I went for an auto cannon in the end. This is an older style Cadian auto cannon, and I used that because I had them lying around and they weren't going to get used. And I think a lot of us probably have spare heavy weapons for Imperial Guard, especially if you're an Imperial Guard collector. You tended to get a lot of spares in that old kit, didn't you? Not so much now because of the way the weapons are put together. A bit crafty on GW's part. They kind of don't want you to use all the spare parts in the kit, I think. But in the old days, in the previous generation, they were kind of complete weapons. And these slotted through the gap, no problem at all. So I didn't have to do any conversion work there. I just slotted them in this little section here where you get this little ring around the barrel. Just behind that, they slotted down perfectly. A little bit of super glue just holds them in place. These are identical, but for the crew. Again, I'm just trying to tell little stories here. Some of the crew came out a lot better than others. I would say that my favourite guys are actually the two guys on the auto guns. They just came together beautifully. This guy here, look, he just looks busy. He just looks like he's doing something. And I like that. And I just like the way he's looking down at what he's doing, and the posing just works. So I was really, really happy with that. Some of the poses are a bit more goofy, like the guy at the back there. This is like an infantryman, as you can see. I didn't want to have running miniatures in there, so I was limited to try and use standing legs or kneeling legs if I had them. And this is just, he's poking his gun out the back of the vehicle there, and he's holding on to the side as if the thing's kind of moving along or something. So it's okay, but some of them definitely better than others. You can see here in the other one, once again, the autocannon guy is great. I love the way he's leaning on the side of the crew compartment there. I love the way that he's standing up, one leg up on the bench there, the other foot is down on this crate that I put inside the tank. So I just love that pose. Really, it's great when a pose just works, isn't it? It just comes together. Other poses, not so much. Like we got this guy in the back here. Looks like he's received a rather distressing tax bill. So yeah, so some of them are a bit goofy. But that's about it, guys. The other thing I wanted to show you is that they make fantastic artillery tractors. So you can put the kind of thing on the back there, and it looks really, really nice. And I am probably going to do a little bit of light conversion work to make these hooks actually work as well, but I haven't gotten round to that yet. But I just think that's a wonderful look, just to have them towing the artillery like that. It's great. So I love these, and I want to thank Culverin Models for sending them through. I did purchase these, but they very kindly upgraded me to the updated version of this kit halfway through the order process, because I said I was going to do a video on it, and I'm really grateful for that. So we've got the headlights going on in a bit more detail. So if you enjoyed the content, guys, please consider liking and sharing, and if you're not already subscribed, consider giving me a sub. Thanks ever so much, and I will catch you in a future video. Cheers.